morning students. In previous class we have studied about the parts of alimentary canal. Today we will study about histology of alimentary canal and digestive glands. Then first one is histology of alimentary canal. What do you mean by histology? Histology of alimentary canal. Histology of alimentary canal. Histology is a branch of science in which we studied about the tissues. The study of tissue is called histology. Now, what is the histology of alimentary canal? The alimentary canal is a tube-like structure. As we know, the alimentary canal is a tube-like structure, and the TS, if we see the TS of alimentary canal, it is seen that the alimentary canal is consists of 4 layers. Alimentary canal is consists of 4 layers. The outermost layer, this is the outermost layer. The outermost layer is called serosa. The outermost layer is called serosa. It means the alimentary canal is made up of 4 layers. The outermost layer is called serosa, and this serosa is thinnest at esophagus, and the serosa present on esophagus is called tunica adventitia. Tunica adventitia. Tunica adventitia is a serosa which is present on the esophagus, and on esophagus the serosa is very thin. And the second layer is called muscularis. The second layer is called muscularis. Then the muscularis is made up of 2 types of muscles. The muscularis is made up of 2 types of muscles. First one longitudinal muscles, and second one radial muscles or circular muscles. These are circular muscles. It means the outermost layer is called serosa and the second layer is called muscularis. Muscularis. Second layer is called muscularis, and the muscularis is made up of 2 types of muscles, longitudinal muscles and circular muscles. And the contraction or relaxation or peristaltic movements occur in the muscularis layer. And in the wall of stomach, the muscularis is made up of 3 types of muscles, in which oblique muscles are also present. It means in the wall of stomach, in muscularis layer 3 types of muscles are present: longitudinal muscles, circular muscles and oblique muscles. And the muscularis is the thickest at the in the stomach, in the wall of stomach. And the third layer is called submucosa. This is third layer, and third layer is called submucosa. Third layer is called submucosa, and the submucosa is made up of goblet cells. Goblet cells are present in this layer, and in the submucosa of duodenum, Brunner's glands are present. If the question arises that where is the Brunner's glands are present, then Brunner's glands are present in the submucosa of duodenum. Submucosa of duodenum contains a specific type of intestinal glands, and these glands are called Brunner's glands, and these glands are present in the submucosa of duodenum. And the innermost layer is called mucosa. This is mucosa. The fourth and innermost layer is called mucosa, and the mucosa is also composed of epithelial tissue, and goblet cells are present in this layer, and these cells secrete enormous amount of mucus, and it is present from mouth to anus, and it secrete mucus, and this mucus makes the path of alimentary canal lubricant. So the food moves into the alimentary canal smoothly. So for smoother movement of food, mucosa secrete mucus, and the alimentary canal perform a specific type of movement called peristaltic movement, and by the peristaltic movement the food moves forward smoothly. It means in alimentary canal specific peristaltic or peristalsis movement occurs, and this blank space present between the alimentary canal is called lumen, through which the food is passed. This is the structure of TS of alimentary canal. It means in histology the wall of alimentary canal is composed of 4 layers. The outermost layer is called serosa, and this serosa is made up of epithelial tissue, and this serosa is thinnest at esophagus. So the thin serosa is called tunica adventitia. Now the second layer is muscularis. Muscularis layer is made up of muscles, in which 2 types of muscles are present, longitudinal muscles and circular muscles, but in the wall of stomach oblique muscles are also present. Now the third layer is called submucosa, and fourth layer is mucosa. This is the histology of alimentary canal. Now we will discuss about digestive gland. It means we have discussed about alimentary canal, which is the first part of digestive system. Now we will study about the second part of digestive system, which is called digestive glands. Next part is digestive glands. Digestive glands. And now in animal kingdom, we will talk about animal kingdom, not only for human, all animals. In all animals, different type of digestive glands are present. For example, salivary glands, second gastric glands, third one liver, pancreas and intestinal glands. It means in human these are the digestive glands are present: salivary glands, gastric glands, liver, pancreas and intestinal glands. Now we will discuss one by one. The first is salivary glands. First one is salivary glands. In animal kingdom, 4 types of salivary glands are present. In animal kingdom, 4 types of salivary glands are present, in which first is infraorbital salivary gland, second one is parotid salivary glands, third one is submaxillary or mandibulary glands, and fourth one is sublingual salivary glands. In animal kingdom, four types of salivary glands are present. The first one is infraorbital gland, second one parotid glands, third one submaxillary or submandibular gland, and fourth one and last one is sublingual glands. Then the first one is infraorbital. The infraorbital salivary glands are present under the eye orbits. These are present under the eye orbits, and these infraorbital salivary glands are absent in human. They are absent in human. It means in human only 3 types of salivary glands are present. Now the second one is parotid glands. Parotid glands are the largest salivary gland. Parotid glands are the largest salivary gland which is present beneath the ears. Got it? It means in infraorbital glands are present under the eye orbit, whereas parotid glands are present under or near the ears. But in human, infraorbital glands are absent, and salivary and parotid glands are present, which are the largest salivary glands. And the third one is submaxillary or submandibular glands, and these glands are present. These glands are present in the jaws. These glands are present in the jaws. And whereas the last one is sublingual. Sublingual glands are present. Sublingual glands are present at the junction of lower and upper jaw. Lower and upper jaw, and under the tongue, at the basal part of tongue. And these glands are exocrine glands. These glands are exocrine glands. So they secrete their secretion through ducts into the buccal cavity, and the secretion of all these glands salivary glands is called saliva. These glands secrete, it means the salivary glands secrete saliva, and in saliva inorganic or organic substances are present. Organic and inorganic substances are present, and in inorganic substances different types of ions such as sodium chloride, bicarbonates, etc. are present, whereas in organic part 2 enzymes such as lysozyme and ptyalin. Lysozyme and ptyalins are present, and mucus is also present in saliva. These are the organic part of saliva. And the 2 enzymes such as lysozyme and ptyalin. The lysozyme kills the bacteria, kills the microbes. The lysozyme kills the microbes, enters with the food. The microbes which enters with the food, they are destroyed by the lysozyme. It means the lysozyme prevents the entry of microbes in the alimentary canal. This enzyme is a part of our immune system. And the second enzyme is ptyalin. Ptyalin is also called salivary amylase. It is also called salivary amylase. And this salivary amylase digests the cooked starch into maltose, but only 30% part. It means 30% part of cooked starch is converted into maltose by ptyalin or salivary amylase. It means in human the process of digestion starts from the buccal cavity. Starts into the buccal cavity. Okay. Now the third one is mucus. Mucus is makes the food. Mucus make the fluid lubricant and it converted into semi-solid state. Thus, when the saliva mixes with the food, it converts into semi-solid state, and this semi-solid state is called bolus. This semi-solid state is called bolus. And the saliva, and what are the other functions of saliva? Saliva helps in speaking, and saliva makes the food moist and keep the buccal cavity moist. Okay, and this is the ptyalin. And so we will talking about salivary glands. It means in animal kingdom 4 types of salivary glands are present, in which infraorbital glands, which are present under the eye orbit, and these are absent in human, whereas parotid gland are present under the ears, and these are the largest salivary gland. And third one is submaxillary or submandibulary glands, which are present into the jaws, and sublingual, which are present at the junction of upper and lower jaws and under the tongue. And these are exocrine glands, so they opens into the buccal cavity through a specific type of duct. Specific type of ducts are present with each of the salivary glands. Now the second one is gastric glands. After salivary glands, second one is gastric gland. As the name suggested that gastric glands are present in the wall of stomach. The next one is gastric glands. And the gastric glands are present in the wall of stomach, and in the part in which part of the gastric glands are present, their name is like the name of the part of stomach, such as the gastric glands which are present in the cardiac region, they are called cardiac glands, and the gastric glands which are present in the fundic region, which are called fundic glands, and the glands which are present in pyloric region called pyloric glands. And fundic glands are the maximum in number, because the fundic is the largest part of the stomach. And the juice which is secreted by gastric gland is called gastric juice. It means the gastric juice is secreted by gastric glands. The gastric glands are made up of the following types of cells, such as zymogen cells, or chief cells, auxentic cell, auxentic of parietal cells, G cells, and mucus cells or goblet cells. These cells are present in gastric glands. It means the gastric glands contains the following types of cells: zymogen cells or chief cells, auxentic or parietal cells, G cells, and mucus cells. And the secretions of these cells are: the zymogen cells secrete, the zymogen cells or chief cells secrete inactive proteolytic enzymes. These are prorenin and pepsinogen. Two types of inactive proteolytic enzymes are secreted by zymogen cells, and these are prorenin and pepsinogen, but they are secreted in different stages. Such as the prorenin is secreted in childhood stage, whereas pepsinogen is secreted in adulthood. In adult, pepsinogen is secreted, whereas in child, prorenin is secreted. And the function of prorenin is to digest milk protein called casein. It means the milk protein casein is digested by prorenin, not from prorenin, but the active state of prorenin, which is called renin, because the prorenin is inactive. Prorenin is inactive. It converted into firstly active state called renin, and then it digests milk protein casein into calcium para-caseinate, which is also called curd protein. Whereas in adult, all types of proteins are digested by pepsinogen or active state of pepsinogen. Got it? It means the prorenin is secreted in childhood, whereas in adulthood pepsinogen is secreted. And the oxyntic, the next cell, oxyntic or parietal cell secrete hydrochloric acid. Which is pH is 1.3. The pH of HCl is 1.3. It means it is a highly concentrated acid. And HCl performs different type of functions, such as the first function is to activate inactive proteolytic enzymes. It means prorenin and pepsinogen are activated by HCl. The HCl converts prorenin into active renin, whereas inactive pepsinogen is converted into active renin, and this activation occurs by the HCl. And the another function of HCl is to kills the bacteria, kills the microbes, and in the stomach enters with the food. And third one is it provide acidic medium. Into the stomach, because in stomach the digestion process occurs in the acidic medium, and in stomach digestion of protein occurs. The digestion of protein occurs in the stomach. Okay. Now the second one is G cell. Another one cell is G cell, and G cell secrete gastrin hormone, and this gastrin hormone is responsible, or this gastrin hormone is activates the gastric gland to secrete gastric juice. It activates or stimulates the gastric gland to secrete gastric juice. And the mucus cells or goblet cells, and these goblet cells and mucus cells secrete mucus. It means a thick mucilaginous layer is present, in the stomach, in the inner wall of stomach. And why the thicker mucilaginous layer is present? Because the mucilaginous layer, the thick mucilage layer, prevents the stomach wall from the HCl. HCl is a very strong acid in the stomach. It can damage the wall of stomach, but the walls of stomach doesn't digest by HCl or damaged by HCl due to presence of a thick mucilaginous layer, and this mucilaginous layer is secreted by these mucus cells. So this is the gastric glands. And gastric gland, it means the gastric glands are present in the wall of stomach, and these glands secrete gastric juice, and the gastric glands consists of different types of cells, such as zymogen cells, which secrete inactive proteolytic enzymes. Oxyntic or parietal cells, these cells secrete HCl. The HCl activates the inactive proteolytic enzyme. It converts prorenin into renin and pepsinogen into pepsin. and the prorenin is secreted in childhood stage, whereas the pepsinogen is secreted in the adulthood. Okay. Now, the G cell secrete gastrin, which stimulate or induces gastric gland to secrete gastric juice. Now, last one is mucus cells secrete mucus, and in stomach digestion of proteins occur, and the stomach stores the food about 4 to 5 hours, and these are gastric glands. Now, next one is liver. Next digestive gland is liver. The liver. Third one is liver. Then liver is the largest gland or largest organ of the body. Liver is the largest gland of the body. Its weight is about 1.5 to 1.8 kilogram. Its weight is about 1.5 to 1.8 kilogram, and it is the largest organ or largest gland of the body. The liver consists of two lobes. The liver consists of two lobes, and the one lobe is larger and another is shorter. Both the lobes are attached by a ligament called falciparum ligament. Both the lobes are composed of fused by a ligament called falciparum ligament. It means two lobes are present, one larger and one smaller. But under the larger lobe, a bag-like structure is also present, which is called gallbladder. And the gallbladder stores bile juice, stores and concentrate the bile juice. Okay, and if we see the internal structure of liver, then the liver, each lobe of liver is composed of small lobules, and these small lobules are called hepatic lobules. Internally, the larger lobe of liver consists of hepatic lobules. Hepatic lobules are the smaller lobules by which the larger lobes are formed, and each lobule is surrounded by a connective tissue membrane, and this connective tissue membrane or capsule is called Gleason's capsule. The lobule of the hepatic lobule is surrounded by Gleason's capsule, and in a lobule, two or three layered structure cords are present. These are called hepatic cords. These cords are called hepatic cords, and these cords are 2 or 3 rows. In each hepatic cord, 2 or 3 rows of hepatocytes are present. It means the hepatic lobule contains hepatic cords, and these hepatic cords are made up of hepatocytes, and in each hepatic cord 1, 2 or 3 rows of hepatocytes are present, and these hepatocytes secrete bile juice. It means the bile juice is secreted by hepatocytes. And between the cords of hepatocytes, blood sinusoids are present in which blood is filled. This is the blood sinusoid. This is hepatic globule. Which is surrounded by Gleason's capsule, and in hepatic lobule, hepatic cords are present, and these hepatic cords are made up of hepatocytes, rows of hepatocytes, and in each cord about two or three rows of hepatocytes are present. Between these hepatic cords, the space is present, and this space is called blood sinusoid, in which blood is present. And in these blood sinusoid, larger specific type of cells are present, and these cells are called Kupffer cells. These cells are called Kupffer cells. It means Kupffer cells are present in the liver, and these cells kills the bacteria, kills the microbes, enters into the liver. Okay, now this is the structure of liver. Then the human liver is bilobed structure. And both the lobes are attached by falciparum ligament, and under the larger lobe, a sac-like, green colored sac-like structure is present, which is called gallbladder. And gallbladder stores bile juice and concentrate it. Okay, and if we cut a section of liver, then each hepatic lobe is consist of numerous smaller hepatic lobules. It means hepatic lobules are present in a hepatic lobe, and this is the hepatic lobule, and each hepatic lobule is surrounded by Gleason capsule. And in hepatic lobule, hepatic cords are present, and each hepatic cord consists of rows of hepatocytes, and there are two or three rows of hepatocytes are present in each cord. And between the hepatic cords, the space present called blood sinusoid, in which blood is filled. And in this blood sinusoid, a specific type of Kupffer cells are present. And these cells kills the microbes, enters into the liver. And this is the structure of liver. Then this is right hepatic lobe, and this is left hepatic lobe. From each hepatic lobe, hepatic ducts are released. It means from a right lobe, right hepatic duct arises, and from left hepatic lobe, left hepatic duct is arise. And these both of the hepatic ducts are fused together to form a single or common hepatic duct. This is right hepatic duct, this is left hepatic duct, and both the ducts are fused together to form a common hepatic duct. And the common hepatic duct and duct of gallbladder are fused together to form common bile duct. This is common bile duct, and this common bile duct fused with pancreatic duct to form hepatopancreatic duct. hepatopancreatic duct, and this hepatopancreatic duct opens into duodenum, through sphincter of Oddi. Sphincter of Oddi. This is the sphincter of Oddi. Sphincter of Oddi is a wall-like structure through which hepatopancreatic duct opens into duodenum. Hepatopancreatic duct opens into duodenum. So let me discuss again. From each lobule hepatic duct arises. It means from a right hepatic lobe, a right hepatic duct, and from left hepatic lobe, left hepatic duct arise. Both the left and right hepatic ducts are fused together to form common hepatic duct, and the common hepatic duct and the duct of gallbladder, which is called cystic duct, are fused together to form a common bile duct, and the common bile duct opens into pancreatic duct and forms hepatopancreatic duct, and the hepatopancreatic duct opens into duodenum through sphincter of Oddi. And before the sphincter of Oddi, a larger space is present, or larger ampulla is present. This ampulla is called ampulla of Vater. Ampulla of Vater. Now this is the structure of liver and its ducts. Now the liver secretes bile juice. It means bile juice is secreted by liver. And bile juice is a juice. In which any enzyme is not present. Matlab no enzyme is present in bile juice, but it is necessary for digestion. There is no any enzyme present in bile juice, but it is very essential for digestion, because it helps in the emulsification of fat. It means the emulsification of fat is carried out by bile juice, and the bile juice is secreted into the duodenum. Okay. And there are two functions. Of bile juice are present. First, it emulsifies the fat, and it provides basic medium into the small intestine or duodenum, because in small intestine the process of digestion occurs in the basic medium. So the basic medium is provided by bile juice. And if we see that the composition of bile juice, there is a organic and inorganic parts are present. In inorganic parts bile salts are present. If we see that, what do you mean? Just like this is bile juice, and bile juice contains two parts, inorganic and organic. Okay. In inorganic part bile salts are present. And in organic part bile pigments are present. Okay. It means the bile juice consists of two parts, inorganic part and organic part, and in inorganic part bile salts are present, and in organic part bile pigments are present. And the bile salts are of two types, inorganic bile salts and organic bile salts. The inorganic bile salts provide basic medium into the duodenum, whereas emulsification of fat is carried out by organic salts. बाय यस, ठीक है। तो इनऑर्गेनिक सॉल्ट, तो बाइल सॉल्ट्स आर प्रेजेंट। तो बाइल सॉल्ट्स आर टू टाइप्स, नंबर 1 ऑर्गेनिक और इनऑर्गेनिक सॉल्ट्स, ठीक है। एंड द इनऑर्गेनिक सॉल्ट्स प्रोवाइड बेसिक मीडियम टू द बेसिक मीडियम इनटू द duodenum, whereas organic salts carried out emulsification of fat. And another is bile pigments, and there are two types of bile pigments are present, bilirubin and biliverdin. Bilirubin and biliverdin are the two bile pigments which are present in bile juice, and the bile pigments are formed by the decomposition of hemoglobin. The decomposition of hemoglobin forms two types of bile pigments, which are bilirubin and biliverdin. And the bilirubin and biliverdin are the excretory product which excrete out through bile juice, and the bile juice are secreted into the alimentary canal and released from the body through the feces. Okay, now this is the liver, and recall it again. Liver is the largest gland of the body, and the liver is present in the abdominal cavity under the diaphragm. It is present in the abdominal cavity under the diaphragm, and the human liver is bilobed structure. And it consists of two types of two lobes, one larger lobe and one another smaller lobe. It means right lobe and left lobe, and both the lobes are fused with the falciparum ligament. And bile juice is secreted by liver. It means liver secrete bile juice. And remember one thing, bile juice does not contain any enzyme. But it is still necessary for the digestion. All the juices such as saliva, gastric juice, pancreatic juice, intestinal juice, all the juices which are secreted by digestive gland contains enzymes which are responsible for the process of digestion. But bile juice is the only juice in which enzymes are absent. But still it is necessary for the process of digestion, because it carries out emulsification of fat and provide basic medium into the small intestine or duodenum. Because the enzymes of pancreas, it means the pancreatic enzymes work in the basic medium, but the food which comes into the small intestine or duodenum is acidic, because in stomach acidic medium is present, and when the acidic food enters into the duodenum, it cannot be digested, it must be basic. So the basic medium is provided by bile juice, and in basic medium the pancreatic enzymes works. Okay, and this is the structure and bile juice of liver. Now the third one is pancreas. And the pancreas is the gland. Now the third one is pancreas. After liver, the another digestive gland is pancreas. As we have discussed earlier, that between the both arms of duodenum, this is duodenum, between the both arms of duodenum, a leaf-like gland is present, a leaf-like gland is present, and this leaf-like gland is called pancreas. This leaf-like gland is called pancreas. It is a yellow colored gland. It is a yellow colored gland, and the special part of this pancreas is that it is not an exocrine gland, it is a mixed gland. It is a mixed gland. It means it has both the properties. It has the properties of exocrine and endocrine gland. It means enzymes and hormones. Enzymes and hormones both are secreted by pancreas. Both are secreted by pancreas, and the pancreas is the second largest gland of the body. Pancreas is the second largest gland of the body. Okay, now this is the yellow colored leaf like gland, and it means it is a mixed gland. It is a mixed gland. It secrete enzyme as well as hormones. It means the part which secrete is called, it is made up of acinar cells, and the part which secrete hormones are called islets of Langerhans. It means islets of Langerhans are present in the pancreas. Islets of Langerhans, and islets of Langerhans are present in the pancreas, which secrete hormones, and about 1 million islets of Langerhans are present in the pancreas, and these islets of Langerhans are equally distributed on the surface of pancreas. On the surface of pancreas, they are equally distributed. It means 1 million, about 1 million islets of Langerhans are present, and these islets of Langerhans are secrete enzymes. Different types of enzymes are secreted by these islets of Langerhans, in which the islets of Langerhans has 3 types of cells: alpha cells, beta cells, and gamma cells. 3 types of cells are present in islets of Langerhans. First one is alpha cells. Alpha cells secrete glucagon hormone. Alpha cells secrete glucagon hormone, and glucagon hormone increase blood glucose level. The function of glucagon is to increase blood glucose level, and the beta cells secrete insulin hormone. It means the insulin hormone is secreted by beta cells, and the insulin decreases blood glucose level. And the delta or gamma cells secrete somatostatin hormone, and this is an inhibitory hormone. And the somatostatin controls the activity of alpha and beta cells. It means as endocrine part, Langerhans of islets are present, or islets of Langerhans are present into the pancreas, and islets of Langerhans are composed of 3 types of cells. First, alpha cells. The alpha cells secrete glucagon hormone, and this hormone is responsible for increase blood glucose level. It means its function is to increase blood glucose level. And the second cells are beta cells, and the beta cells secrete insulin hormone. The beta cell secrete insulin hormone, and insulin hormone decreases the blood glucose level. It means both glucagon and insulin maintains the blood glucose level, and the third cells are gamma cells, and gamma cells secrete somatostatin hormone. And this somatostatin hormone controls the activity of alpha and beta cells, or regulate the activity of alpha and beta cells. And the third one, and the exocrine part of pancreas consists of acinar cells, and these acinar cells secrete pancreatic juice. It means pancreatic juice is secreted by acinar cells. It means the acinar cells are the exocrine part of pancreas. And in pancreatic juice, different types of enzymes such as inactive proteolytic enzymes, amylase, lipase, nuclease are present. In inactive proteolytic enzymes, three types of enzymes such as trypsinogen, chymotrypsinogen, and procarboxypeptidase. Three inactive proteolytic enzymes are secreted. It means the pancreatic juice contains inactive proteolytic enzymes such as trypsinogen, chymotrypsinogen, and procarboxypeptidase, and these are the inactive proteolytic enzymes. And another enzyme such as amylase, which is called pancreatic amylase, lipase, and nucleases are present. And the inactive proteolytic enzymes such as trypsinogen, chymotrypsinogen, procarboxypeptidase are activated by an enzyme which is secreted by the wall of intestine called enterokinase. An enzyme enterokinase is secreted by the wall of intestine, and this enterokinase enzyme activates the inactive proteolytic enzyme which is present in pancreatic juice. Now the pancreas which is present between the both arms of duodenum, and the duct of pancreas is called pancreatic duct. The duct of pancreas is called pancreatic duct, and with the pancreatic duct, common bile duct is fused to form hepatopancreatic duct, and to form hepatopancreatic duct, and the hepatopancreatic duct opens into duodenum through sphincter of Oddi, and before the sphincter of Oddi, a ampulla is present. This ampulla is called ampulla of Vater. It means through hepatopancreatic duct, bile juice and pancreatic juice, both are poured into duodenum. Okay, now this is the pancreas. This is the pancreas. Okay, in the next class, we will study about intestinal glands and the process of digestion Thank you very much.